Hey boys and girls, welcome back. The winter months here, I'm just basically trying to replenish my box. And I don't think I've ever shown you this before. This is a very simple winter little black stonefly. Okay, this, as far as the size that we have, is a fire hole size 20. This is like they're a little bit longer shafted hook, extremely small. So there's not a lot of detail that you can put into something like this. And most times when they get this small, you don't need a lot of detail, okay? As far as the size of the bug, this is what we're looking at from the hook shaft back. Not very far, okay? Not very big. So most times I just make this out of thread, but I came across, they probably have made these for a while, but I was just looking through some of, some available fibbits, and now they're making these hairline fibbits in a barred type product, okay? This is what they look like out of the package. You can see the barring on that. Does not come off. This one is a light done with a black barring on it, okay? The beads that we're using are a 2mm hairline product, okay? Just going through my supplies and getting rid of smaller hooks or hooks that I only got a couple left of, and I wanted to put together this pattern here for the spring. So the little black stonefly on the Loyalhanna, something we see that February, January time marker. Usually you'll see them on the snow. Outside of March or something like that, you really don't run into something like this. So it's a great early season bug, extremely small, it's dark. These little fibbits that we have here, I've caught dozens of these things. I have one in a vial here. I'll take some pictures of that and put it up here so that you can see, some of the sizes on these things. But what we have, outside of that is, just some Semperfli Nano Silk. This is 12/0, and this hook, size 20, is small, but it's probably about a standard 18. And I have 2 of these 2mm beads on. Now, if you ever weigh your products here, 2 2mm beads is going to weigh the same as a 2.5mm bead. So don't really have to worry so much about weight here. But we do want to keep this very small, okay? I wrap this back inside the hook gap there. And when I pull these fibbits off, you want to separate just 2 of them. Okay, we're going to use the front and the back side of these. Just pull those off, make sure the tips are even. And we're going to tie those in on the back here. Just a couple loose wraps. Get them on top of the hook. Now the size, you see a lot of stoneflies that are tied with goose biots as far as the tails go. These stoneflies just don't have that look to them. Everything about them is delicate. So the tails, you very rarely even see on an adult, the ones with wings. We want to tighten down on that to kind of spread those fibers out a little bit. Let's see if I can get it right here. All I'm doing is just keeping a little bit of tension on this. That's still a little bit too long. There we go. And when you put some tension on that, you don't want them to roll off the side of the hook. You want to keep them on top. Okay, like this. Once I get up to the beads there, I'm just gonna wrap around behind and in front of those. And we're gonna clip those off as tight as we can. Okay, I keep those in my fingers because we're gonna use those for the antennas. Now with two of these beads in here, you're gonna have to weave your way. I put one wrap in between, and then I'll put a number of wraps in front, okay? When we put these in, you want them to extend out over the top of the body. That's how they look. Okay. A little bit of tension on that. I'm going to bring those back, wrap underneath them so that they somewhat will stick up. Okay, like that. And we're going to clip those off. And that's the beginning. Don't worry so much about the length on the front. We do want these longer, and I'll show you something there that we want to do. Okay, once we get some of that in there, we're gonna wrap back through there and get to the back of the bug. All right, now when we're dealing with these 2mm beads, the gaps on them are very big compared to the size of the bead itself, okay? So if you have them situated on the hook a certain way, you just don't want the gaps to be on top, okay? That's just more of an aesthetic type thing. So even though there's wraps on them, you can twist them so that the roundest part is on the top like this, okay? Now we're gonna come back to the tails here and split these, if I can see them, okay? And that's just to keep them separated. All right, now we're just gonna build up a little bit of the body closer to the bead, because we want to anchor those in and give a little bit of a taper, and then we're going to wrap back down to where those tails are tied in. Okay, now the other thing that we have is a paint marker. Okay, this is gray, and this is optional. You can use whatever color you want, but with a bug this small, and we probably have only 1 or 2 mils behind the bead before the tails, it's kind of hard to get a piece of wire in there or something that you can wrap to give a little bit of segmentation. And using a pen like this is is very easy. The trick to it is you gotta let it dry, because this is a paint, and all I'm coloring on here is probably a 1/2 inch, maybe. Trying to get the top and the bottom. I'll show you here in a second. I know the vise is hiding it. And this is gray, it's not silver, it's not bright. Okay, you can kind of see the color differences there. All right, now what we want to do is try to cord this up. So you're going to spin it clockwise. Okay. And then we're just going to make tiny little segments on our way up to that bead. Okay, just like that. Gonna put a couple black wraps right up against the bead. And we're going to tie this off. Okay. Now I'll just stab myself with the scissors. Try not to do that. And cut that as close as you can. Okay. At this point, it's important that you have everything lined up where you want it. These tails, you want it split. Don't have to worry so much about the front of these, but these little beads on top, if you bump them, okay, like I said, you want that on top because we're going to secure this with some UV. Only on the bottom. A lot of times if you use too much UV, I'll show you an example. On those beads, it'll fill in all the gaps. And you want that distinction of the two beads. I'll show you what the bodies look like. Okay, so just a light coating there, and then I'll paint the bottom of these. Just trying to get in between the cracks a little bit, just enough to color them, or cover them, not color them. Okay, you want those two big segments to be visible, and we're going to cook it. Okay, ultimately that is your little black stonefly. Now, as far as how it is found in the wild, these antennas are longer than the body. Usually they're curled, and if you can crease these a little bit. Difficult when they're so short. Okay. But you can see how long the antennas are compared to the tails on the nymphs like this. Like I said, it's very delicate. You can change this however you want to, okay? Keep what I have here. I'll show you some of the differences. Okay, here's an example, same pattern, okay? If you use a little bit too much UV, see how you can't even tell that these are two beads. If you like that look, do it that way, okay? I like the distinction. It's a little bit easier to pick out, so you can do that and cover those beads up and just create a little bit bigger thorax. Some of these other ones that I have separated here, you can use different color UV to color a bead or color both beads. I have pink ones that I'll tie up too for the two pieces of the thorax, the top and the bottom. So go ahead and bat it that way. You can change the color back here, on the body. Don't use a gray, use a pink, use a green, whatever you want. The downside to using this nano silk, doesn't hold color very well, like compared to a regular thread. So yeah, you gotta give it a little bit extra time to dry, 30 seconds to a minute before you go ahead and, jump in and try to, put your UV on the top of that. Okay, there you go. Little black stonefly. Tie some up for winter, early spring, late winter. You'll catch some fish. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you soon.